My name is Jane Thomas, and I've been a wildlife, the title is Licensed Wildlife Rehabilitator. And I think when you contact the Parks and Wildlife through the state, it's a scientific/rehab permit that you have to acquire. And I have been doing it for 22 years. A wildlife rehabilitator, after you get licensed, basically what it is you get a call from everybody and anybody that finds an injured or orphaned animal, and then you pick it up, or I don't pick up animals anymore, but I have them everyone take it down to the Humane Society if possible. Some people do come out here, you know, it just depends on how busy I am. But then my job is to fix it up, and I have 6 months. And if in the interim of that 6 months, if they're not viable enough to be released back into the wild, then they have to be either put in a sanctuary or humanely euthanized. I started, like I said, 22 years ago, and I had kids, and let's see, my youngest was probably 5 or 6 when I got licensed. And I started I had parrots, cockatiels, started with cockatiels. And then when you have birds like that, people that find a little orphaned or injured bird, they think you know how to take care of it because, hey, she's got a bird, let's take it down there. And so that's how the wildlife started. So my first thing that came in was a blue jay, and it had a ruptured air sac. I fixed him up, but I ended up, he didn't do well because I didn't know what I was doing. So I ended up having him for like 9 years, which was a bad thing. You're not allowed, you know, you cannot possess wildlife. You just cannot possess wildlife. It's against the law. So anyway, after that, it's just, after you get licensed, then you start getting affiliated with veterinaries and the animal shelter and stuff, and then it just becomes a regular thing. And there was, at one point, we were getting like 100 calls a day. When I first started doing it, it was just like being able to, you know, touch these wild animals that you could never touch as a child, and that was the biggest thing, was birds. You know, I always wanted to touch a bird when I was a kid because they look so soft and everything. And I started doing this when I was a kid. We didn't have a whole lot when I was growing up. I was born in Ohio and didn't have a whole lot, so if I brought something home, there wasn't enough to go around for 7 people, so it was like, take that back where you found it. And you know, I've told this story many times, but people say, how'd you get started in it? Well, I told my mom back then, when I grow up, I'm going to have every animal in the world, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I cursed myself. But anyway. You know, as you get, I'm inundated, 600 to 800 animals a year, inundated. So when they go, when you fix something up, and it, like something with a broken wing, you know, and it's broken really bad compound, and I'm fixing it myself, and I'm never taking it to the vet. You know, some of them I have, but that never really turns out good because I always want to pin it, and pinning usually doesn't work that well. You know, maybe a bald eagle or something, but no, not these smaller birds. So now, when you fix it yourself, you feed it, you care for it, and then watch it fly away or watch it go do what it's supposed to do, that's the ultimate goal, and the satisfaction that you get is just watching them go back into the wild and do what they're supposed to do without being imprinted, being, you know, that kind of stuff. These guys that you're seeing down, they won't be doing that. And in another week, they won't even be around. So it's pretty good. The awareness of wildlife is that it's illegal to possess it. If you find, and this is what people need to understand, if you find like a baby bird on the ground, this time of year, everybody's finding baby birds. What's happening usually is they're getting in the middle of the fledging process. They think they're babies that fell from the nest, but they're actually babies that mom and dad have called from the nest. They say, come over here, I want to feed you from this bush now, or this tree. That tree stinks, predators can smell it, let's get away and let's go over here and eat. Well then, between that tree and that tree, the baby can't fly. They fall out to the ground, and then they run across the ground, go to that tree and they literally flap up the tree to get in there. And that's how they start building these flight muscles. They can't fly for 24 to 36 hours. Okay, so that's where the person gets in the middle of it. Oh, it hit the ground. Oh, it's been abandoned. Cat's gonna get it. And that's why. But if you just put your cat up, put your dog up, and let that process continue, then you've got a success story as far as that goes. All right, so that's the part. But also, too, now, people need to understand that you cannot possess wildlife. If you find something and you cannot allow the fledging process, or it's got a broken wing, or you know the mom's been killed or something like that, you cannot raise it yourself. You're not allowed to raise it. You have to have a license. The mammals are protected by the state, the birds are protected by the federal government, because birds fly through all the states, so they have to be protected by the feds. So anyway, what you need to do is wherever you are, contact your local animal shelter, and they usually know of a licensed rehabilitator in your area. And sometimes you may have to go a long way, but that's the price you pay if you want to save that animal's life. That's If someone wants to get licensed, if someone wants to help out, if someone wants to do this themselves, realize that this is a job. You do not get paid for your services, so donations are a must. You know, whether you get cash from the general public, whether you get donations from, let's say, like Walmart gives their busted bags of stuff to the shelter, and the shelter gives me what they don't use. You know, if you can get stuff from the zoo, you know, I do a few things with the zoo, and they help me out with some food once in a while, you know, if I need it. So, you know, you've got to learn how to beg, borrow, and steal to do this the proper way. But mainly what you subsist on, it comes out of your own pocket, or you get donations.
If you're interested in helping Jane Thomas with her efforts in wildlife rehabilitation, please contact the Waco Humane Society at 754-1454.